Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of the Engwe P275 Pro. It's got some epic features, things I've not seen on an e-bike before. So who is this bike aimed at? Well, they're trying to say it's a commuting bike. Basically, get on it, pedal to work, do your day job and pedal back. So let's go through the spec of the bike. And the first of all, I want to talk about, obviously it's a big bike, but how much does it weigh? It's an aluminium frame. So it's actually not that heavy, 25 kilos, and that includes the battery on the back. And speaking of the battery on the back, that is a 19.2 amp hour lithium battery using Samsung battery technology. And that is powering the Baofeng 250 watt mid-drive motor. And the motor's then driving the rear wheel with this Gates carbon belt. So no oil, like I say, nothing to mess around. Nice and easy. The wheels are 27.5-inch wheels by 2.5 inch. So they're not sort of skinny, sort of racing wheels, but they're not fat tire wheels, but they're perfect for sort of city riding. And you even get directional tires on them as well, which does help with sort of like distributing any rain or any little bits of mud or anything like that as well. And for stopping, you've got hydraulic brakes with 180mm discs on them as well. So yeah, these brakes really are really good. I got it to about 30 miles an hour the other day and I slammed on the brakes just to see how quick it stopped. And yeah, it stops really quick. So I was quite impressed with that. So the handlebars are a straight through bar with a straight through stock head. And you can remove some of these spacers if you want it to go lower. But other than that, that's about as high as they'll go. And then you've got a nice comfy seat as well, which is a Selle Royale seat. With hydraulic adjustment. So in there is a little piston, so you can set off nice and low, so you can set off from the lights, and then once you get going you can then adjust it. One of the things I like about this Selle Royale seat is the little light that clips into the back of the seat as well. It's just using a CR232 battery, so probably have to replace it once a month if you use it every day or whatever. But you've got two modes, one is on and one is flashing, and then switch it off. So yeah, nice and easy to use. Rear rack for carrying anything important on there. Obviously you can choose to install this or not because there's no rear light on there as well. So if you don't want to have the rear rack on there, you simply unbolt the 4 bolts and it comes off. You do have lovely metal mud guards on there. Nice good quality mud guards which do help keep all the rain and everything off you as you're cycling. So if you notice as well, the tyres have got this reflective band on them as well as having spoke reflectors. And you've also got reflectors in the pedals as well. So plenty of sort of safety things built in there, so other road users can see you if it's a bit dark. So like I say, the battery on there is a 19.2 amp hour battery, and what they're basically saying is on the low power assistance mode you should get over 100 miles range, and on the high power assist mode then obviously that's probably going to be less, maybe about 80 miles, something like that. From my experience, and I have been riding it up hills and on the flat and everything else, it's Lincolnshire where I have at the moment. So predominantly you think Lincolnshire's quite flat, but I found some hills just to test out how the gears work. We'll go into the gears in a minute. But from my sort of like riding range and everything else, I do like to cycle, but obviously I'm a big guy. And like I said, there's a little bit of hills as well. It's usually quite windy around here, so sometimes there's a bit of headwind where I'd use more power. So I'm looking right now about 83 miles range. Something to bear in mind is after it goes over 16 miles an hour, there's no assistance on it anyway. So if I am doing sort of 16, 30 miles an hour, whatever, if I'm going down hills or on the flat, then I'm not actually sort of using any power. It's all me and my legs, obviously. Now, speaking about the gears, there are 3 gears built into this bike. You don't get a gear lever, and you can't see a derailleur or anything like that anywhere, and that's because there are 3 gears built into the rear hub. As you set off, you're in first gear, then around about 9 miles an hour that'll go to second gear, and then around 12 miles an hour that'll put into top gear, which is third gear. And the gears are quite good considering obviously it's meant as a city bike, not for hill climbing and things like that. The gears are quite good. As you set off with level 1 battery assistance, you can be up to third gear, usually sort of like 15-16 miles an hour, within about 4 or 5 rotations of the pedals. Do you feel the gear change? Yes, you do. It's not jerky. it's quite smooth, but you obviously notice your cadence changes because the gears changed. It doesn't affect anything of the riding. You can just detect the way you're pedaling that the gears are changed and your cadence slows down as it's moving into the higher gears. And I would say, like I say, 30 miles an hour, I was coming down a bit of a hill and I was pedaling, but I wasn't whizzing around. There was still resistance against the pedals, so I could have done maybe a little bit more. There was a bit of a headwind as well, but yeah, they are really, really good gear ratios. So a couple of things to note about the gears as you rise up to a gradient. If you're in sort of like 12 miles an hour and you're in third gear, as you start to slow down, as long as you keep power on the pedals, it'll keep third gear locked in place. So even if you press up on the power to give you, level 5 maximum power assistance, you're still locked into third gear, even though your pedals are still moving, and there's no way to change that. So how do you change gear? It's quite simple, just basically back pedal, couple of rotations of back pedal, and that'll drop the gear that was previously selected, and then when you pedal again, it'll select the gear that's appropriate for your speed. Like I said, first gear is all the way up to 9 miles an hour, second gear is between 9 and 12 miles an hour, and then third gear is then everything above 12 miles an hour. So for example, you've come up to a brow of a hill, you've slowed down to 8 miles an hour, back pedal, as you start to go again, you'll be in first gear. And this is where it takes a little bit of practice now, because if you power off in first gear, it'll then want to change to second gear and third gear. So what you've got to understand is if you're going up a hill and it's quite a steep hill, then just back pedal and stay around about 8 miles an hour. That'll keep you in first gear and it'll keep your cadence up quite a lot. So yeah, little bits of tricks to play around with it, but yeah, really cool way of doing it. You just don't have anything on here at all. So this all means then that there's no real clutter on your handlebars, and lovely little display, the controls for the display, a little bell. I love the little Engwe bells actually, and yeah, some lovely brake levers for the hydraulic brakes. So going through the controls of the display, now the display is, again, a lovely clear little display that's got some lovely functionality on there. So you've got 5 levels of motor assistance, which run through E, T, S, S Plus and B. You've also got the ability to just switch it off and ride it like a normal bike, and you'll still get the use of the rear gears. They're not powered in any way, shape or form. So yeah, they're just basically driven by the motion and speed, and it knows when to change gear. So you can, if you wanted to, put it in 0, and then it's all down to you and your legs then. And then there's another mode which is behind, so powered down, so from 0 backwards. You've got another mode which is walk assist, which is when you press the walk assist mode, press the down button like that, keep it held down, and that's just to help you push the bike along, and that'll keep it going to 2.9 miles an hour. Let go of that and it just stops. The up arrow, if you press and hold that, turns the lights on at the front, and there's quite unique lights on this one. Looks a bit sort of like a European standard bike again. Quite a few that we've seen around Europe and Amsterdam, where the front and rear lights are within the top part of the frame. So you've got 2 lights here, one shines out and one shines down a little bit, and that's controlled by a long press on the up arrow. And then you've also got different modes on the display. Whilst it tells you the speed, it can also tell you watts, your odometer, the trip, your max miles per hour, which mine's showing 29.6, which is about as much as I've been able to get out of it. My average miles per hour is 11.7, and currently producing no watts. And then it's got a range left in it as well, and you can actually, whilst you're cycling, get its estimated range remaining out of this battery. So it is quite good. Now you might have noticed as well on the rear wheel there, that's actually the speed sensor. So batteries in the back here. There are 2 little slots at the top. One is for this key, and then the other side is for the charger. So you can either charge it in here or use the key to release the battery, move the seat up, and it just about clears. And now obviously you can plug the battery in wherever you are, take it out of the bike and plug it in to charge it. And obviously if you want to store the bike this way, or you want to carry it this way, it does make it slightly lighter as well, because this is quite a hefty battery really. The connections at the bottom there, quite a good connection system. It will only go one way with the way it's shaped. Push it in, put your key in, and that's it, locked in place. You don't need the key in to power it on all the time, so that's a really good thing. Some of the bikes I know that you do have to leave a key in somewhere, but this one you don't. The battery's locked in place. Keep the keys out of the way, put them in your pocket, drop that back down so you can sit back on it again, and you're ready to go. Everything's ready and powered up again. And just in case anything were to happen with this wheel, get an inner tube puncture or something like that, there's a little block of the frame with two little screws in it to remove those, which allows you to then take the belt off the rear wheel and then drop the rear wheel out. Like I say, one of the biggest things about this, we've spoken about the gearbox, but it's about power delivery, and that is the fact that it's a mid-drive or a crank motor, 250 watt brushless Baofeng motor. Yeah, that's smooth. It's instantly responsive. There's no delay. You literally turn the pedal and you can feel the power coming in. It's obviously a very different looking bike with some top end pieces of equipment on there, hydraulic brakes, you know, mid-drive motor, belt drive as well, the Gates belt drive system, and a 3-speed automatic rear gearbox as well, along with adjustable seat posts. It's a high spec bike and it rides like one as well. There's no shakes, bumps, rattles or anything like that, despite there being no suspension on this bike. And obviously UK roads aren't the smoothest, but it's still quite a comfortable bike to ride. Now obviously with the size of this bike and what I was saying about the seat height and not being able to go any lower than that, what they're basically saying is the rider height is between 5'7" and 6'5". It is a big bike, and I can see that that's sort of like, you know, about right. I'm 5'10", and like I say, I can easily get on with the seat lower, and I can cycle much better with the seat at that kind of position. You can adjust it here. There is you know, sort of adjustments, so you can raise the seat post a little bit, so if you need it a little bit higher than that, it'll pop up a little bit higher. As far as weight, so weight of the rider, they're estimating 100 kilograms as being the maximum weight of the rider, which also would include anything that you put on the back as well. So maximum rider and payload weight of 100 kilos. Charge time for the battery, well, like I say, I got it and it had 2 bars on there, which was around about sort of like 18%. I fully charged it to 100%, and that took 6 hours. As usual, all links will be in the video description down below, and if there are any offers on right now, then those links and offer codes will be down in the video description too. But if you're looking for a commuter bike that's just plain and simple to use, you know, just basically get on and turn the pedals and ride it, this is definitely the bike for you. Definitely something very different, quite unique, and yeah, I loved it actually. Yeah, so it's a lovely, easy bike to ride. Just basically get on, start pedaling, and it just does it all for you. It is just like getting in an automatic car, you know, turn the key, start it, and you just point the wheel in the direction you want to go in. My problem is it won't fit in my garage. Maybe if I just sort of like chopped it in half, put some hinges on from B&Q, fold it in half or something like that. Maybe that'll work. No, probably not, will it? Anyway, thanks for watching guys. Till next time, see you later. Bye.